So this week we'll be talking about the ancient Roman world. And what I'm showing you here is at the very height of the Roman Empire, what they controlled. So you can see that they controlled the entire region around the Mediterranean Sea. And beyond, this would be like, a big chunk of Europe into Asia Minor, or what we call the Middle East today, and the whole northern section here of Africa. So just like the Greeks that had a pre-civilization right before them in the form of the Minoans and the other civilizations, the Romans had the Etruscans. So the Etruscans would be today would be the northern part of Italy. And while the Etruscans are in the northern part of Italy, we do have the Romans beginning in Rome, and we have a few Greek people in the very tip of the boot of Italy. But the Greeks never take over Italy, or really never have a settlement or control in the area of Italy. So the Etruscans became really known for their metalwork and for trading metal. And they were a very peaceful people, and the trade of metal is really how they made money. So this piece I'm showing you here is this really beautiful container. It's dated to 350 to 300 BCE, and it has all this really amazing incising or scratching into the metal. And then we have these cast figures on the top here. Another thing that they did is they worked a lot with clay. Stone is not abundant in northern Italy. That's in southern Italy. So they have a lot of terracotta clay. So they make this sculpture out of terracotta clay between circa 510 and 500 BCE. And it's really large. So it's 5 feet 10 inches tall. We can compare this sculpture, the Etruscan piece. Oh, come on. I'm trying to move this thing so you can see it better. Okay, I'll move this then. No. The Etruscan piece to the Greek work. Okay, so we have the Greek work. These are the Koros, if you remember. And this is the one that was in the video that is at the Metropolitan Museum here in New York. And we can see as it evolves, it becomes more realistic in this one, but it's still extremely stiff in the way that it is standing. We can make a comparison between these two. I'll try one more time to move this. No, not letting me move it. Okay, so both of them have a stance where we have 1 foot forward, 1 leg back, very symmetrical in how it is, but this one obviously has clothes and this one does not. This one's made out of stone, this one's made out of clay. So unfortunately I have the arms missing in this. These arms would have extended into space around the figure where these arms are very straight at the side. The faces are actually similar, where we have this very stylized braided hair, this kind of round eyes, and this archaic kind of smile. This piece as a support has to be added because this is clay. So these two, they don't need that support added because they're stone, but you can see that the facial features and the hair, the way it's stylized, is very similar. The Etruscans also had really beautiful architecture. So here is a model of an Etruscan temple. And like they have very similar ideas to the Greeks, where they have this inner temple here. And instead of columns that go all the way around it, they just have columns in the front here, what's known as the portico. And then they have these figures up on the roof. So we can do and here's the overview So you can see there's no columns around the back of it, just in the front. But here's what we'd say is the inner chamber or the inner temple. And we can make a comparison between the Greek and the Etruscan. So this also would have had a roof very much like this, right? But the frieze, or this area here, is very different between the two. The way the columns are not only created but go around the temple is very different. So there were some vast differences between these two forms of architecture. Now, we don't know a lot about the Etruscans. Most of the information that we do know comes from these burial chambers. There were these large tombs that have been discovered and excavated. And this one is from the 3rd century BCE. And so they, like the Egyptians, believed in an afterlife where the person who died needed to bring things with them. So these were, it's almost like think of a mausoleum, where these are almost like beds. They have the pillows here, and much of this is made out of clay and stone. And so the person, when they died, they would be laid to rest here. And then this was the idea that all of these things they would need in the afterlife, and they would attend a party that would continue on and on forever. And here's one of the frescoes that shows this party. They're having a good time, and this will continue on for eternity. The other piece that we have, there, I think 2 of these that have been found. One is in Rome here, and I believe the other one is in Paris at the Louvre. And so this is a sarcophagus. So you see the line down here, and then this part lifts off, and this part lifts off, and the bodies are inside of this. These 2 figures recline here, and they are very stylized. You know, you have the stylized braided hair, the kind of weird looking eyes with a very funny kind of archaic smile. But they seem like a happy couple. They seem like a couple here that's reclining on this couch that is represented as a unifying force. And we can kind of make the conclusion that they were probably well off because they could afford to have this sarcophagus made, and that perhaps they did have a very loving marriage when they were alive. Okay, so that's it for the Etruscans, and next we will move on to the Romans.